Point Lookout is one of the harshest places to exist in all of the wasteland. There is no centralized power or entity that holds control over the region. The entirety of the place is a swamp with no governance whatsoever. There is no town, and traders are far and few between. Not only is getting supplies here a huge difficulty, but so is simply surviving. Nearly every single person you will come across is extremely hostile and battle-hardened. There are several small groups in the area, but they make up little more than small camps. Between the myriad of natural predators and even the climate, this is truly a place where only the strong survive. The region was inhabited long ago by Native Americans, far removed from the Great War. As we fast forward through time to the foundation of the Americas, the swamps were settled by an isolated country folk. Even before the Great War, they were known for their lawlessness. During the Civil War, the area was brutally fought over, leaving behind many deep scars on the land. Even during the height of the Great War, the United States established research bases and military installations in the region, many of which can still be explored to this day. Strangely enough, the closest known bomb that went off would be the ones in Capitol Waste, meaning the swamps never directly got hit. Despite this, there are still massive amounts of radiation here. Currently, if one wishes to travel to Point Lookout from the Capitol Waste, you may do so, as smugglers routinely make the journey from Rivet City and back. Of course, these smugglers have quite a nasty reputation, as many people do not come back from the journey. It is also advised that if you are heading to Point Lookout, to go heavily armed and supplied, as it is far from civilized. The people that live out there are even considered backwards by those who live in the Capitol Waste, and that's really saying something. Because of this, it may be hard to find a companion willing to make the journey with you, meaning you will have to go alone. Despite there not really being any towns or cities, there are still some large groups that have similar cultures. The largest and most hostile would be the swamp folk. These are the descendants of the pre-war people that inhabited the area during the time the bombs fell. It is theorized that many of them survived due to their off-grid lifestyle. Some of these populations have actually boomed post-war. Many of them will look towards the Blackhaw family for guidance due to a shared religion. The major issue with these people is that they have become inbred, and because of the fallout radiation, many suffer from severe birth defects. Unfortunately for you, these defects can often make them formidable foes. Furthermore, the area is also home to a tribal population with a religion centered around a native fruit called the punga, and a mysterious prophet who guides them. This group of people is mostly harmless if not provoked, and may even ask you to join them, although there are rumors that part of the initiation includes a type of lobotomy. This is really apparent when speaking with them, as they are slightly off. Nonetheless, if you need to stock up on punga fruit, they always seem to have a large volume of it. They also appear to be involved in a conflict with the owner of the Blackhaw Mansion. You may see bands of them taking shots at it, or sometimes even a downright invasion. Despite this, they never seem to win. Overall, I would personally prefer to run into some tribals over the inbreds that dominate the swamps. In addition to the tribals and swamp folk, Point Lookout is also home to many drifters and regular people. For instance, near Pilgrim's Landing there is a small shop called the House of Wares. The store is owned by someone named Pananda. She has the largest ammo stockpile of any vendor I have come across in the Capitol Waste. She is friendly enough and definitely willing to make trades with anyone who passes through. There is also Haley, the owner of a small shop located near the interior of the swamp. Haley woke up with amnesia and can't remember how he got there. All he knows is he's not originally from the area. The swamp folk trade with him, and he's pretty much friendly to all who pass through. Overall, Point Lookout is home to many interesting people, but sadly the swamps are extremely hostile and unsafe despite this. Your best bet is to keep that in mind and keep your defenses up. Due to the region's distance from the nuclear attacks at the capital, the wildlife has developed a little bit differently here. For starters, we will discuss the ghoul population. They have developed noticeably lighter skin, and it is theorized this is because of the lack of sunlight and the dense fog. The ghouls here are on average stronger than the ones on the mainland. This is yet to be explained by any wasteland scientist. Rather disturbingly, a pre-war facility called the Turtle Dove Detention Camp housed those who were thought to be Chinese spies. This camp had abysmal living conditions, and it is suspected that many of the ghouls in the area came from this camp. There is so much to go over here, we'll have to look at it again another day. As well as being home to many ghouls, you will also have more run-of-the-mill creatures. Near the coast is a huge number of murlurks. They seem to thrive in the conditions here, and their populations have skyrocketed. There is also a small Yaoguai population. I may be wrong on this, but I don't think there's any deathclaws in the area, so at least there's that. Overall, the wildlife is not your biggest issue here. The people and their extreme beliefs are. In Point Lookout, there lurks some mysterious evil. As soon as you get off the ferry, you will notice many dolls hanging from the trees in a super creepy fashion. You will also see strange ritualistic sites deep in the forest, often guarded by the swamp folk. There have been many times where I will be walking through the swamps only to turn around and find one of these mysterious dolls at my feet. One time, I even found one sitting on a rock emitting a strange frequency. I'm not sure the exact meaning behind them, but I've heard the locals say they could be for a strange religion or even as territorial markers. Nonetheless, they are super creepy. On top of these sites, there is a strange mansion belonging to the Blackhaw family. In it, you can find an old man named Obadiah Blackwall. He is a peculiar fellow with strong ties to the occult happenings in the area. He will ask you to retrieve a book called the Krvbekna. No one knows the true meaning of the book, however, it is clear that there is a supernatural force about it. Legend has it, long before the war even started, the Blackhaw family inhabited Point Lookout. It is said they were the original owners of Pilgrim's Landing, and they completely commercialized the region. Obadiah, the old dude in the mansion, is related to a pre-war lady named Constance. She was the one that originally found the Krvbekna, and it was said to give her an unnaturally long life. After the bombs dropped, the Blackhaw family became the center of a cult that developed amongst the swamp folk. They believed the Blackhaw to be deities of sorts due to the supernatural powers they obtained from the book. We don't know a lot because of the swamp folk attack on site, and the Obadiah family is shrouded in secrecy. Not trusting the old man, I did some looking around, and under his mansion I found another one of these ritualistic sites. This one's pretty creepy, and I felt a strange energy here. Thanks to the lady I found camped out by the shore named Marcella, I was able to track down another one of these ritualistic sites. This one was different though, as it was the largest I have come across. There was an entrance on the ground that led to an expansive cave system with many old and possibly pre-war artifacts, many of which were satanic in nature. I had an unsettling feeling when I was here, and I did not want to stay for long. It goes without saying that there are many swamp folk patrolling the area, as it is sacred to them. They will guard it with their lives. Either way, I was not looking to stick around here, so I got out ASAP. After returning to Marcella, she mentioned an interesting thing to me. There is a place in the capital wasteland called the Dunwich Building, and it apparently is connected to the book we find here. There seems to be a lot more to this, so we'll possibly make a future segment on it. Overall, Point Lookout is an extremely dreary and depressing place. The landscape is inhospitable and has distinct borders. On one end of the map is a large cliff face overlooking a tumultuous sea, and on the other you have a disease-ridden swamp. The people here are extremely tough and hostile, and there are very few friendly vendors willing to trade. Several strange and militant cults reign in the deep foggy swamps, making traveling through them hazardous. I had a strange feeling here that I was never alone and being watched by something. There is so much going on here, I really didn't have time to cover it all, but one thing is certain. If you wish to visit this region, go with tons of weapons and ammo, as well as medical supplies. You will need it.